Let's check that memory, y'all. Hope this stuff seems familiar from yesterday. Just a quick review because we're going to be going over something similar to this today. So where are the peaks in the line plot? Remember, peaks are things like mountain peaks. They're high points or like tops. And this one has 2. I would say there are peaks there and there. Sort of like the modes, right? I think we said yesterday, there's like a lot of people live 3 and 5 miles from school, or the most people, I should say, live 3 and 5 miles from school. We would call those peaks in the line plot because lots of people live at those certain ones. Where are the clusters? Remember, clusters are a bit of a judgment call, so I'll show you where I would probably say, I think there's like one cluster. You may have slightly altered yours from mine, that's okay. You know, clusters are like, where are there just like a lot of data points or a lot of answers. I would probably put all of this as like one cluster. There's just like a lot of people that live between 2 and 6 miles from the school. You know, you might have said something more like this, a bit smaller area for the cluster. That's okay. The main idea is you're looking in a cluster for where is there just kind of a lot of answers to the questions. Almost all the people in the class or the group or whatever here lived 2 to 6 miles from the school. Any gaps in the line plot? There's a gap here. Nobody lived 8 miles from the school. So we would call that a gap. Somebody did live 7, somebody did live 9, but nobody lived 8. And is the data in the line plot symmetrical, skewed left, or skewed right? I'm going to erase all this old stuff and talk about this. I think there are 2 perfectly fine answers to this question. Remember, this isn't always perfect either. A lot of what we're doing now kind of involves a lot of judgment in statistics. It's not as clean as normal math where you're just like, hey, this is just how it works. I think it's perfectly fine to say if you look right here from 1 over to 7, it's not even just almost symmetrical right there. It's actually perfectly symmetrical right there. If you ignore the 9, it's like perfectly symmetrical. So almost all the data is very symmetrical, just a few on the ends, and it builds to the middle area there. So that's one, I think, good answer. You could just say it's symmetrical. We just remember we sometimes, not every single thing has to be perfect, fine to say. But if you did really fixate on this 9, you might have said, well, it's mostly symmetrical, but this 9 way off here to the right, that one person that's a bit farther than everybody else, that's going to slightly skew the data to the right. If we found the mean, instead of being right in the middle at this 4, if that 9 wasn't there, that person in the 9 is going to skew that mean over that way just a little because they have a lot more than everybody else. So I think symmetrical is a good answer here. I also think right is a good answer here. To find this middle half answer, remember what the middle half means. There's a term in statistics we use that indicates the weird idea of a middle half. We're talking about the interquartile range when we talk about the middle half. To figure out that, I'm going to list all my answers here. 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 9. I believe there are 15 of these when I put them on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think would be the middle one. Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. So there's my median. Now there's 7 on each side. So if I think I pick the 3 as my first quartile, then there's 3 before it, 3 after, and 6 as my third quartile, 3 before, 3 after. Notice what I did here. These are called quartiles in interquartile range because I have 1/4 of the students are 1 or 2 miles away, 1/4 are 3 or 4 miles away, 1/4 quarter, 5 away, 1/4. I'm dividing my data into fourths. I'm going to do that. And so the half in the middle, this fourth and this fourth, live between 3 and 6 miles away. So the half of the class in the middle, that's called the interquartile range, lives between 3 and 6 miles from the school. I hope those went well for you. Once you got them, you are ready to erase your board.